Welcome, Dolphin Fam and Wolfpack Nation.
Hello. Hey, Benji, how are you? Thank you for coming in. Hey, Drina, thank you for coming in. Bud Files, thank you for coming in. Renrock, thank you for coming in, y'all. Okay, so I have here Jessica, and she's going to tell us about her story, something that she went through from when she was a child. Okay, you guys, please be respectful in the chat. And also, Renrock, if you're in here, please make sure that there's no negativity in the chat. Okay. Okay, Jessica, thank you for coming, sweetie. You can go ahead and start. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, as far as like who I am,
Yeah.
my name is Jessica Green Brown. I'm a licensed BSW social worker. I have an energy auditor apprenticeship with multiple certifications from that, a pre-apprenticeship manufacturing certification, among other things. I won't go through the whole spiel there, but that's an overview of the like certifications and stuff that I have. But as far as who I am, I'm from Huntington, West Virginia. I'm just a regular person, basically.
Do you have kids? Do you have any kids?
No, I never had kids.
No kids.
Um,
Oh.
no, I never had kids. I'm divorced. I divorced over a decade ago.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Um, but I do have a long history of adversity in my life that I've had to overcome and rise above.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so my story is of strength and basically overcoming adversity and hope.
Okay. Okay. Can you tell us a little bit about what you've been through and how it started?
Well, I don't remember exactly how it started because I was below the age of like 4.
Oh,
So
wow.
sometime between the age of birth and
Mhm,
4, it started. So I don't really remember when it started
mhm,
exactly, or how it started exactly. Um, Basically, sometime in that time frame is
mm.
when it started, though. Um, I was, um, I, I guess the best way to start is whenever I was born.
Okay.
Um, I was born in Huntington, West Virginia, with 2 bottom teeth.
Hmm.
Um, so I had a dentist in there the day I was born. I was
Okay.
supposed to have buck teeth too because I had teeth whenever I was born, and that's pretty common for somebody who's born with teeth, which is
Wait.
very
Did you
uncommon.
just? I did hear teeth, right?
Yes, I was born with 2
Well,
teeth.
you're not the first. So you're not. I heard about that, and I really didn't believe it. I was like, wait, teeth when you're born?
Yes.
Wow. Okay. Go ahead.
So I was an oddball even the day I was born. Whenever I was 2, I won a coloring contest. I don't remember that, but I remember the toy I used to play with that I won from that coloring contest. By the time I was in first grade, I was doing my own homework for school. So by that time, I was about 6. Um, but despite the abusive circus around me, because there was a lot of
Hmm.
domestic violence, there was a lot of physical abuse. That I watched my brother be beat on,
Hmm.
and even whenever I wasn't being touched, I was watching all the circus around me.
Okay. Hmm.
But I still got it too.
Wow.
My mom was a state employee. My dad was honorably released ex-Navy.
One more time.
My mom was a state employee. My dad was an honorably released ex-Navy officer,
Okay. Okay. So you're military.
ex-military, yes.
Hmm.
I
Okay.
endured severe child sexual, physical, and emotional abuse, domestic violence, and complex trauma at the hands of my biological father and my half brother.
Jesus Christ.
I've been raped, I've been beaten, I've been silenced and abused in about every way possible, time and again, by men.
Jesus.
I was isolated and was not permitted to have friends, which was strictly enforced by whatever means necessary whenever I was a child by
Hmm.
my dad. My only friends were cats.
Mm.
My dad literally played a radio in our basement because the way the house was set up with the neighbor's house
Hmm.
was connected at the basement to their
Oh,
garage. So he literally put a radio playing full blast in the basement so they couldn't hear our screams.
Jesus Christ. Wow.
Um, but it didn't stop there. My dad would tell me not to cry because it didn't hurt when he would beat me. There were
Mm.
constant battles with the neighbors themselves, where
Hmm.
he would literally pull guns on them in our driveway if they turned around in our driveway
Oh my
and shoot
God.
at them. We were sued numerous times because he would shoot at our neighbors just for turning around in our driveway, and we lived at the end of a dead end street.
Right.
And we were the last house. The only place to turn around was our driveway. So it's
Wow.
not like they were trying to do anything. They were
Right.
literally out of options at the end of that block. So if they were unlucky enough to come down our block, they got shot at by my dad.
Wow. They
And
would
he
get
put that
shot
gun
at
to
just
where
if they were using your yard to make a turn. Like if they're, like you said, you're at a dead end. Why not be able to turn in somebody's yard, right?
oh, he wasn't, they weren't even in the yard. They were in the driveway.
Oh my gosh.
Literally just trying to turn around to go back up the street the opposite way.
Did he ever tell you guys why he did that? Like why he had so much anger when it came to somebody coming up the driveway?
He had control issues.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, he was a
Wow.
control freak. He would go behind my mom, which did literally everything. He didn't clean, he didn't cook, he didn't work, he didn't do anything, but he did
Hmm.
follow up behind my mom with a white glove every time she would dust.
Wow. That's definitely a control freak.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Um, He was very controlling. And it did not begin with me. It did not begin with my mom. It did not begin with my older brother. We
Mm-hmm.
were a carry on from his last family, his first family. He had 5 kids in.
Right.
And she had him hospitalized before he met my mom. His ex-wife did, for
Mm-hmm.
abuse. They let him out when his dad died. That's how he met my mom.
Okay.
And he started a new family with her, left his old family, and the abuse started over again in the new family, which was
Oh.
me, my older half brother from my mom's previous marriage,
Mm-hmm.
which he didn't show up until I was 2 because his dad stole him.
Right.
My mom literally went through America's Most Wanted to try to get my brother back. And when he did come back, that's when the abuse started for my brother. He would have
Jeez.
been better off with his dad.
Right. Definitely. Wow.
And the
So
very thing my dad did,
he's considered a serial abuser, right? I mean, because like he's done more than one family.
yes,
Definitely. Wow.
he shot at my sister and stabbed my brother.
Mm, 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 mm.
Um, and that's just the things that I know.
Yeah.
And even my older brother from his previous family, which I never lived with, he was an adult by the time I was born, got on the first video that I ever did as far as an interview and
Mhm.
commented on it and literally verified everything that I said, and he never lived with me
Wow.
as far as our dad's behavior.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
I
Was he ever
literally see both
diagnosed
of
with
them.
mental illness? With any mental illness? Excuse me. Mental
Um,
illness.
Actually, yes, he did have a type of mental illness. It depends on how you classify pedophilia.
Oh my God. Yeah, that's actually mentally. Yeah. When somebody does things like that, they're serial at it, serial abusers, definitely that would be considered a mental illness. Because there's something really messed up in their heads to do these type of things. I mean, there's got to be something missing.
Well, his
Something.
psychological itself, he took a psychological, they did a psychological on him, and I didn't find this out until after the trial.
Hmm.
But I read in the newspaper that they did a psychological on him and it found him to be an ingrained pedophile, quote, incapable of rehabilitation.
Oh my Jesus. So that means there's no help for him.
Right.
Wow. Yeah. She thinks he's oh my gosh, I can't even say that word right now. Schizophrenic. Like
No, he wasn't schizophrenic, nothing like that. He just had a sexual attraction to children.
wow.
And it was so ingrained in him, it was part of basically his personality. It was never going to be cured.
That's sad. That's oh my gosh. I mean, I'm sorry that you have to go
He
through
had
all
to be
this.
stopped. He could not stop himself. And if he had not been stopped, he would have continued.
Wow. Is he I mean, this is not this story, but I'm saying this. I don't want to say like get from that part and then go all the way to the end. But is he alive now, or is he?
No, no,
No, he's not.
he died of COVID and underlying health conditions in Mount
Hmm.
Olive Penitentiary in 2020.
Mm.
November 2020, he passed away.
Did he ever apologize?
Nope.
Wow. He went to HE double hockey stick. I'm just gonna let you know that
He
because
never felt remorse for what he did.
yeah. Mm-mm-mm.
He had no shame, no guilt, nothing. He had no conscience at all.
Wow.
He was a monster.
Definitely. Definitely. Oh, anyway, so go ahead and tell us a little bit more about this craziness. Jesus Christ.
When I was 4 years old, my mom got pregnant again. My dad didn't
Hmm.
want any more kids. So he kicked my mom so hard in the stomach, my baby brother was born full term with water on his brain, dead.
Jesus.
He got away with it. Nothing was ever done to him over that. Whenever he did get charged with anything, it wasn't the domestic violence. It wasn't killing my little brother. It was only for 11 counts of different types of sexual abuse against me and my older brother.
Oh my God.
He was given the max penalty for those crimes, though, that was allowed by law, and
Mm-hmm.
he got them consecutively, not concurrently. So he was
Right.
not serving his time at the same time. So it racked up to 45 to 105 years without the possibility of parole.
Wow. I mean, I feel like when somebody abuses people, I really think that they need to serve life and without parole, because you have to suffer with life, with that, with your future, like from the
Mhm.
time that it started to your future and beyond. You got to deal with this because it's something, even if it's like you went on with your life and you've done better things for yourself, it's still on your mind. It's got to still be on your mind. There's no way that's just like it just goes away. You know what I mean? So I feel like they need to do life without parole for sure.
Well, my baby brother actually, I think, kind of got off easy there
Mm,
compared to my older brother,
yeah.
because it destroyed him. It destroyed his whole life, and it basically ate him from the inside out until it destroyed him in 2022. Not
Mm.
2022, 2020, as well as my dad. He died before my dad.
Oh my
Drug
gosh.
overdose. He never was able to overcome it. He made it his life's mission to punish me for for
So
what my dad did to him.
he took his own
36 years.
life?
He did.
Oh my God. See
He
what I'm
died with a
saying?
crack. He died with a crack pipe by his head and was there for
Oh,
days. He was sent to the medical examiner, and he had a cocktail of drugs in his system.
Jesus.
Yeah, he was already rotting by the time we got to view him at the funeral home.
Mm-mm. See what I'm saying? That's when they definitely deserve life in prison without parole or the D penalty. I mean, I'm sorry to say to be so brutal with it, but they deserve one or the other, but definitely not just a few years here and there. No, it should have been life without parole or the D penalty.
I am 40 years old now. My
Yeah.
older brother, he died at the age of barely 41. He had turned 41 the month before he died.
Hmm.
So, about approximately 2 months from now, whenever I turn 41 and it's a plus a month, is
Mm-hmm.
about the same time he died in his life, as far as lifespan for him.
Mm-hmm.
Whenever he died, he had HIV, he had Hep C, he had a shrinking brain,
Mm-hmm.
and who knows what else wrong with him when he killed himself. Oh, kidney failure.
Mm.
And he was only barely older than me.
And that's still
Than
young.
what I now, I mean. He was 4.5 years older than me,
Yeah.
you know, but time wise, so I'm out basically gonna easily outlive his time span.
Yeah.
Because I mean he literally destroyed him from the inside out. He could not cope at all with what had happened to him.
Wow. Wow. Wow.
The only way he knew how to cope with it was to take it out on me.
Right.
I was his primary target for years because I was what he called Little Orville.
Mm.
I was my dad's daughter. So he couldn't take his anger out on my dad for what he did to him. But I
Right.
was the next best thing,
Wow.
according to him.
So your brother started abusing you in what manner? Is it like just hitting or actually
He sexually abused me whenever I was a kid.
oh my God.
That stopped by the time I was a teenager because he became gay.
Mm. He be-
Uh,
he became what?
he became gay.
Oh, wow.
He totally turned gay. He thought he could turn straight men gay. I don't know. That was just his mentality. But, he became gay whenever he became older and became a teenager. And he also had Klinefelters, which gave him an extra female gene anyway.
Wow. Yes.
And
Our
he was
brother.
sterile, so he couldn't reproduce either. So he
Mm,
had a whole slew of problems on top of he was born with he was borderline mentally retarded
right.
from birth. So he was low
Mm,
functioning anyway. So he had a whole multitude of issues and problems. So while I could be really mad at him for what he did, I don't think he really comprehended what he was doing. I
yeah.
don't think he had the mental capacity to understand what he was doing. He was reacting
Right. He was doing what he saw.
and what he knew.
Mm-hmm.
Uh,
Mm,
I'm high functioning. He was very low functioning.
okay.
So I can't really blame him for what he was uh, doing because I don't think he had a mental capacity to understand
Right.
what he was doing.
So did he ever apologize before he took his life or
No, I had to avoid him up until the time he died.
oh my gosh.
Yeah, I literally had to move out. My mom moved him in.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, threw me out, mind you, for no reason other than she said I had places to go, and he didn't.
Your mom threw you out?
She did because I refused to stay in the same house with him.
Like why would you? Because I mean, did she know that you
Exactly.
were being abused by
She didn't care.
him? Wow.
She could give a shit. Excuse my language. So I had to go stay somewhere else and couch surf for a couple of years till he died. My
Oh,
stuff was still in her house. I
mm-hmm.
literally couch surfed for a couple of years.
Jesus.
And when he passed away, I could finally go home.
Did your mom ever apologize for anything?
No, she's happy about what she did because she was trying, according to her, she was trying to save his life.
Okay, so your mom is still alive?
Yeah, yeah,
Okay, and she still has not apologized for making the mistake of telling you to go
no.
or did not care about what was going on with your life.
She said it
Wow.
wasn't a mistake.
Wow. That is
She
horrible.
said she has no guilt about it at all because she was trying to save his life, but she couldn't save him from himself. And I tried to tell her that, but she wouldn't listen. She didn't even recognize or she was in total denial that he was even on drugs until just before he died. And he literally told her, I've been doing drugs for years.
Wow. Okay, so your mom knew that they were abusing you and she didn't help you in any manner?
She knew about the physical abuse whenever I was a kid. She didn't know about the sexual, but even after she did, she still fed my dad.
Wow. Whew.
But
Lord
on
have
the,
mercy.
on that note, she was terrified of my dad because he beat the crap out of her too.
Oh,
He said that he told her that if she ever left him, he would literally drag her down the street, chained to the car. And I have no doubt he would have.
so not only is he controlling, he's narcissistic, right?
I have no idea what his diagnoses were, but I'm sure my dad had a multitude of them. All I can describe my dad as is a monster because
Yeah,
only a monster would do what he had done.
definitely. 100%. I agree on that one.
And by the time it got to trial, he could not hurt me anymore. And the reason I testified against him for what he had done to me was to stop him from doing it to anybody else.
Right,
Because he couldn't hurt me anymore. What was done was done. You couldn't take it back.
right,
So by the time I was 15 years old and, 5 years later, it took them 5 years to catch him. So for me, it wasn't justice. It
right.
was stopping him from continuing with somebody else. protecting everybody else from the danger he presented to everyone,
Jesus.
because I knew he would continue.
You're right. Oh,
Even
he was
before I
definitely
went
going to move
on
on
board,
to the next.
I knew the man,
Yeah.
because I had lived with him for years, and I knew he wasn't going to stop. But he had to be stopped somehow. And I knew my testimony could stop him.
Thank God for you and your strength, for sure, because not everybody would be able to do that. Put their own father in prison because they feel like, oh, I feel bad because I still want him to be there for the family. I don't want to take him away from the family. You know what I'm saying?
I
Even
did
though
him a
it's,
favor.
huh?
I did him a favor by
Yeah,
testifying against him and having him put in prison, because somebody
definitely.
would have killed him.
Definitely.
He lived
Oh,
a
yeah,
longer life
definitely.
because he went to prison.
Right.
He couldn't control himself, number one. So it
Yeah.
was protecting him from himself.
Yeah. Because if he touches somebody's child and that father is mad enough to do what I would do as a mother, yeah, he was definitely going to be in harm's way.
Yeah.
Because if somebody put their hands on my child, I would do the exact same thing that you're talking about, because yeah, they would not be around. I'd be the one going to prison because I would unalive that person. Because there's no way you're going to put your hands on my child, and that's okay. Not happening
I
ever, no
understand.
matter who the person is.
So, uh, my story is very, how do I put this?
It's
Extreme, I guess.
horrific. It's horrific.
It's extreme. Yes.
Yeah, it's horrific.
Like the judge that I had, whenever I was in state's custody, after I put myself in state's custody at 13,
Mm-hmm.
and I became a youth services case.
Right.
When he read my case, he was a really good judge, and he always read all his cases
Mm-hmm.
really closely. He was an avid reader of his cases.
Mm-hmm.
And he told my mom it was the worst abuse case he'd ever seen.
Oh, wow. It's horrible.
And of all the people who were on my case, I had the same guardian ad litem the whole time I was in state's custody,
Mm-hmm.
and the same judge, from the time I was 13 until I turned 18. That was the only consistency I had in my case. Social workers, they changed all the time. I
Mm-hmm.
don't remember a single social worker that I had name wise at
Mm-hmm.
all. They weren't the ones that I went to whenever I had a problem. I went straight to my judge.
Right.
He
Wow.
was my advocate. Like, whenever I was in state's custody, I had a therapist that didn't show up, for instance.
Mm-hmm.
And being the person that I was, I wrote my judge. And I said, well, I got this therapist. Make her see me.
Mm-hmm.
It backfired. She got fired. But
Uh-oh.
yeah, the next day she was gone. She was fired because she wasn't doing her job.
Yeah.
That was not my intention. I wanted her
Right.
to
No,
make her
no.
see me.
Yeah, I mean, if
She
they're
didn't
not
know
doing
how
their
to see me.
job, right? If
Right.
they're not doing their job, they need to be let go. They need to go work at McDonald's or wherever they need to work, but definitely not the business that they're in, because that's not even, that's not even what they're doing it wrong. Like they're not
Right.
taking care of business like they should be taking care of business, for sure. Wow, that's crazy.
But I literally faxed him a letter from the place I was staying at, and
Mhm.
the next day she was fired.
That's her bad. That's her fault. She should have done her business. She should have taken care of business like she was supposed to, and then she wouldn't have gotten fired. I don't
But
blame you. That's crazy.
he was a really good judge.
Yeah,
That's
that's
the only
good.
time I ever had to complain actually in state's custody to anyone really.
Yeah,
Um, or at least that point I knew I could.
yeah.
There was only one other bad experience I had in foster care or state's custody, and that was
Mhm.
in my third foster home. And my foster parents took me on a camping trip on that.
Mm-hmm.
And my foster parents decided to get drunk on this particular camping trip.
Jesus.
And my foster mom passed out drunk. My foster dad was still drinking. Their friend on the camping trip took me across Beach Fork Lake, and which was where the campground was,
Mm-hmm.
and exposed himself to me.
What?
And yes, and I left him. I took off running. I left him there. Got on, went back across, leaving him there. I don't know how he got back across. I guess he went through the water or something. I don't know. But
Mm-hmm.
anyway, the next morning, I told my foster brother, my older foster brother, and his girlfriend what had happened. They told their mom, which was my foster mom,
Mm-hmm.
or my foster brother's mom, which was my foster mom.
Right.
Um, and she told me not to tell the foster care agency.
She said
And
not
when
to tell?
she did,
Oh my God.
she was afraid she would get in trouble because she had been drunk the night before.
Okay, so she's worrying about saving her own butt instead of yours.
Yes, and
Because what
whenever
if
I
he would have did more than just exposing himself? What if he would have grabbed you and did whatever he would have been doing to you? Because if
right,
he exposed himself, he has something in mind
yep,
besides just exposing himself. And then she goes and saves his butt as well as saving her own and not yours. That's I would have been
yep,
like, you need to take me out of here. You guys, this is ridiculous.
right.
Wow.
And then let's see here. I told the foster care agency anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and they had me removed
Okay.
shortly thereafter. Um, and fast forward, I was their first foster child, mind you.
Mm-hmm.
Fast forward to a few years ago, I reconnected with that foster family. You know,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I actually had good intentions by doing so.
Right.
You know, um, but I reconnected with them, and shortly after I reconnected with that particular family, it came out that five foster kids that they had in their current home that they had adopted, they weren't feeding.
What?
Yes, and they were all removed and placed in other homes.
Oh my God.
That could have been avoided had they not been able to jump from one agency to another whenever my allegations were supposed to be investigated.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
So it was very odd timing that that all came to light whenever I walked back into the picture. Because I
Yeah.
was also a witness to that, to the lock on the pantry with that particular situation and the harassment that one of those children
Right.
suffered on social media by that family.
Wow.
They publicly humiliated her using private medical information on social media.
Oh my Jesus.
I'm a licensed social worker. I'm a mandatory reporter, and I did so.
I just wanted to say hello to everybody in the chat. Hello together. How are you? Sorry, I couldn't say it before. I didn't want to cut her off. Hello, Darlene. Rimrock, I said hello to you. Let me see who else is in here. Devin, thank you for coming in. Young Riaz, thank you for coming in. D Truth, thank you for coming in. E Money, thank you for coming in. It's been a while. How are you? Oh my gosh, you guys. This is a bad case. Darlene was on here last time, E-Money, if you want to see that one, but that's definitely another CSA situation. Um, she went through a lot as well. Both of those cases are horrific to me. I mean, they've been through a lot ever since they were babies. I've heard of people going from, like to get to an age where they start like, I don't know, walking, I guess is when they start doing things to them. But you guys, before you even started walking, you guys were being abused. That's a lot. That's a lot, you guys. Okay, go ahead, sweetie. Wow.
Um,
Mm-mm-mm.
well, the worst experience I would say that I had whenever I was um, being abused is actually whenever I tried to get help.
Mm-hmm.
That's what scarred me more than the abuse. Is whenever I tried to get help.
And the help that wasn't real help, basically, is what you're saying.
Well,
Mm.
CPS was notified by the CAT program I told in fourth grade. It took
Mm-hmm.
them roughly 6 months or more to even show up to investigate.
Right.
Before they showed up, they called my mom at work to set up an appointment, told them why they were coming, or told my mom
Mm-hmm.
why they were coming. Of course, my mom called my dad. He was waiting on me with a gun whenever I got home from school. I didn't know shit.
Oh my God.
He met me at
See,
the
that's
door
the
with
thing.
he, he met me at the
That's
door with 44 Magnum.
Wow. That's the thing with when you go to CPS and go to try to get help, and then they go and tell the parents, like, something is going on, help the child. Why put them back in that situation and then go tell them and expect it not to be, get worse for them? Because it does get worse for them.
Uh-huh.
That's sad. I mean,
Yeah.
like, wow.
He was pacing the floors, holding that 44 Magnum. I ran and hid in the closet. My mom was not home from work yet. I was home from school. My brother wasn't home from school yet. Um, so it was just me and my dad. He could have blown me away right there.
Mm-hmm.
He was furious because he knew I
I
had
bet
told
he
his
was.
secret.
Wow.
And my mom, when she got home, it was before the social worker showed up from CPS. It was my first, time knowing what even CPS was. Mind you, I'm 9, 10 years old at this point. I'm in fifth
Mm-hmm.
grade,
Mm-hmm.
and probably, I don't know, 50 pounds soaking wet, as far as my size. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm hiding in the closet. My mom shows up from work. She coaxes me out of the closet before CPS comes in and gets there and stuff. When CPS shows up, they watch him run at me like he's going to attack me.
Wow.
They don't do anything.
They just let that happen.
Yep. She told
Wow.
him he had to leave. I did disclose the sexual abuse, regardless of my dad threatening me with a 44 Magnum handgun
Mm.
with her there.
Mm.
She watched him run at me. She left me there with him, telling him he had to leave. CPS never came back. 3 months later, my house burned down. We were living on the driveway
Mm-hmm.
after the house burned in a camper, no running water for months until we got a new house, mind you. CPS never came back during that time either. I had to change counties. I had to change schools. I had to change addresses
Mm-hmm.
before I could tell again. My family knew. My neighbors knew. Nobody wanted to get involved. My mom knew. CPS knew. The school knew. Everybody knew
Mm.
what was going on. Nobody did shit.
Wow.
Nobody wanted to get involved. Everybody was afraid of my dad.
I'm sorry, but I know that I sound some kind of crazy, but I would have been there for you. I'm sorry. Even if it would have taken, sometimes people do have to take chances and be there for that child, especially after what you're going through, and then they allowing it because they're scared of him. I'll be like, no, I'm sorry. You might have to take my life, sir, but I'm gonna
My
I'm gonna advocate for you. I'm sorry. That's it.
my
That's how I feel.
my grandmother told me, tell the school. My neighbors that knew what was going on in full were instructed by their parents not to get involved because they didn't want problems with my dad.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so they were at a standstill there. They had their hands tied unless they were going to disobey their own parents.
Right.
Then whenever I changed counties and went to the new school, I was telling other kids, and that's actually I think how I got help because I
Mm-hmm.
told other kids at school what was going on, and a lot of them at my new school.
Right.
Everyone who would listen, I told. So I don't know who called 911. I don't know who called the police, but I'm sure glad they did because the last time my dad beat me was on a Friday.
Mm.
And how this played out was unbelievably strange. But
Mm.
it was a Friday. There was a big thunderstorm. The school would not let me leave. This was my new school, mind you. And my dad had to come in and sign me out in order for me to leave school. He accused me of trying to get him in trouble. He
Mm.
chased me all through the house, cornered me by the door to the basement, and I was crouched down with my arms crossed above my head, and he was punching me full force fist in the head for trying to get him in trouble. My mom was standing there making a salad
Wow.
while he was doing so. She watched the whole thing play out. He tried to kiss my ass after he was done beating the hell out of me.
Yeah.
And I had
So,
my first heart to heart talk with my mom that evening.
mm-hmm.
And I flat out told her, mind you, I'm 10 years old at this point.
Yeah.
I flat out told her, I'm not staying here this weekend. My mom had a DUI. She was leaving for the weekend to go to jail to
Mm-hmm.
serve the weekend in jail. I was going to be left with him by myself after he did that
Oh my
all
Jesus.
weekend long again. And I
Mm-hmm.
wasn't doing it. I flat out told her, I'm not staying here. I said, I need to call Mama, which was my grandmother, my mom's
Mm-hmm.
mom.
Right.
And I said, I'm going to stay with her for the weekend. And my mom's response to that was, you're going to have to ask her. I said, she's not going to refuse me to come out there the weekend. I knew she
Wow.
would. And I
So
was
she
right.
didn't
Whenever
get
I called her, she said, come on out.
they didn't like take her in as not accessory, but like for her knowing and
No,
her knowing
no,
and not doing anything about it.
no. She did not get charged with anything. She was, my mom, I don't know if she was even in reality herself. She lived in a
Mm,
dream world. She was the weekend warrior. She had an alcohol problem. She self-medicated with alcohol.
mhm.
And I remember being like 4 years old and watching her literally zombified, walking across the dining room floor, picking up lint, putting it down her gown, and doing it
Oh,
over and over and over again. She was not even in reality. I don't know how she held down a job.
wow.
She was loopy,
So
flat
she
out
was like
not
a
on this
zombie.
planet.
So she was a zombie at
She was a
times, is what
zombie.
you're saying. Wow.
Yeah. She zoned out to the point that she was literally n- not even present. She was in her own world. She lived in
Mm-mm-mm.
a fantasy. She was not even there.
But she worked.
Um, yeah. I don't know how she held down a job for 43 years.
Wow. That's
I have
crazy.
no idea how she managed the the two lives. I mean, she had to have some kind of split personality or something to be able to manage that. That or she's
Yeah.
just that talented.
Together said functioning alcoholic.
She was a functioning alcoholic weekend warrior. What she called herself.
Mm.
And she did get a DUI. And she brought my dad back in the picture whenever she had to go to Alcoholics Anonymous meetings. And during the
Mm.
time that, we were living in a camper and stuff like that, and she had the DUI
Mhm.
and had to go to jail on the weekends. And he played like he was the alcoholic instead of her because she was too embarrassed to admit that she was the alcoholic.
Right.
So he covered for her.
So that situation is crazy because she's supposed to have the DUIs, but he's covering for her. As in what? Like, what do you mean by covering?
He said he was the alcoholic in the Alcoholics Anonymous meetings.
So they'll go to the meetings, and he's saying he's the alcoholic.
Yes, he would introduce himself as the alcoholic. The man didn't even drink.
What the heck?
Yep.
Hey, Relentless. Wow.
So it was really dysfunctional.
I see. And then some.
Yeah. Of course, they met in a bar.
Mm-hmm.
My mom went out to party for her birthday. and
Mm-hmm.
celebrate her birthday when they met. It was at the VFW. And let's see here. He was there after he got out. He was released from the hospital that his wife had put him, ex-wife,
Mm-hmm.
wife at the time, had put him in the hospital for abuse. So he was at the VFW. Well, she was so drunk she didn't even know where she was. That's how they met. He took her home. They had sex. There you go. They were a couple after that.
Wow.
Real match made in heaven there.
Oh, yeah, I see that. That's like salt and pepper.
So,
Mm-mm.
it was a disaster from the beginning.
Yeah, definitely. But I still think she should have been there for you regardless. Regardless, she should have been there for you 100%. Especially if he's done it before. She should have let she could
She was never there for me. She was never there for me as a kid. Actually, at 13, I had to put myself in state custody because it didn't stop with my dad. She
Yeah.
chose men over to me until I graduated high school. I literally
Wow.
put myself in state custody for my own safety at 13 from her
Mm,
men that she would bring home from the bars.
Jesus Christ. Oh my gosh, you guys, this is like it's a hard pill to swallow listening to this. Oh my God. I mean, I don't know how she's gotten through this. Hey, Love and Live, how are you? Hey, Sherry, thank you for coming. Oh my God. This is another horrific story
The
about
next
what
guy
they've been
she
through.
dated, because I was put into state's custody for the first
Mm-hmm.
time whenever I was 11.
Mm-hmm.
First, I went to a children's shelter, and then I
Mm-hmm.
was moved to my first foster home, and then my second foster home. And then by that time, I was about 12 years old. I turned 12 in my second foster home, and I was
Mm-hmm.
on the reunification agenda to return
Mm-hmm.
back to my mom at that point. My second foster home went really well. I still have contact with my second foster mom. They attended my college graduation as well. Before my foster dad died, he attended my college graduation with my foster mom that I had whenever I was 12.
Wow.
So that foster family went above and beyond what they had to do, period. My foster mom, especially. But
Yeah.
my, and I'll explain what I mean by that here shortly.
Okay.
But my mom's fiance, after my dad was out of the picture, was her protection from my dad because my dad was stalking us, trying to break down the back door. And that was her protection, was a new man.
Mm-hmm.
So whenever I was returned home from my second foster home, I got into an argument with said man. Mind you,
Mm-hmm.
I'm 12, probably 60 pounds maybe at this point, soaking wet. Um,
Mm.
and he comes after me. I hide in the bathroom. My mom's in there. She unlocks the door, lets his ass in.
Oh,
He
Jesus
beats the
Christ.
hell out of me right in front of her. So much he was covered in toilet water. I'm hiding under the sink, trying to get away from him. She's standing there
Yeah.
the whole time, not doing shit, watching the whole thing. She says she doesn't remember a thing. The whole thing played out right in front of her. She let him in the bathroom.
Wow.
So
Oh my.
my response to that was, okay. Well, I felt lower than I mean, I just had enough at that
Yeah.
point.
Yeah.
So I overdosed on a half a bottle of sleeping medication that I was
Mm-hmm.
prescribed.
Mm-hmm.
Slept in my closet because I didn't feel worthy of sleeping in a bed, which actually is what saved my life because she heard me banging against the walls whenever I went into a seizure.
Mm-hmm.
And they were able to transport me to the hospital and put me on fluids or whatever they did. I don't know. But my heart
Right.
stopped. They called the chaplain in. And my mom's boyfriend at the time, or sorry, fiance at the time, that had
Mm-hmm.
beat the crap out of me, he told her she should just let me die. My foster mom showed up because she heard on the police scanner. She showed up in case it was me, and it was. She thought it might have been. She was there to comfort my mom. She witnessed everything that happened. You know, like I said, she went above and beyond. And that's what I meant by that. And she did go above and beyond. She was not being paid for that. I was not in
Right,
her home
right.
anymore. You know,
Mm.
and then she did that
You
because she
got
cared.
some good people in this world, that's for sure. You got some
Yes.
good people in this world.
And I've actually met more good people than bad, believe it or not. And that's where my resilience
Thank
comes
God.
from.
Thank God.
But he told my mom that she should just let me die and went and cheated on her that night.
Mm-mm.
It was shortly after that I turned 13 and I refused to go home. I was
Mm-hmm.
in the hospital and I flat refused to go home. I had them put me back in state's custody because I knew they couldn't hit me.
Yeah.
And that was good enough for me. They won't hit me?
Yeah.
Hell yeah. Good deal.
Jeez.
And I stayed there until I was 18 years old. You know, and that didn't end the dysfunction because the dysfunction continued on my home visits. Like whenever I was 17 years old, my brother, I went home for Thanksgiving on a home visit,
Mm-hmm.
and my mom and my brother got into a fight. I went for a walk. I came back, and my brother had my mom
Mm-hmm.
cornered by the stairs, and I broke him up by slapping him on the back, and he turned on me. He
Oh,
was about ready to
wow.
hit her. He turned his rage on me, and ran to the kitchen. And he got a butcher knife,
Oh, my
and he
God.
threw a butcher knife at me. It did hit me. He called the
Mm-hmm.
cops on himself. He plea bargained to brandishing, went to jail for 6 months, robbed the jail while he
Mm-hmm.
was in there, um, and had to pay the jail back when he got out for the food he stole.
Wow.
Um, so yeah, that was my brother. He even had to pay the jail back because what he did in jail. Um, and that
Mm-hmm.
all was after he got out of the Pines, which was a treatment facility that he was sent to because he held his ROTC class up with a gun, slit his wrist, wiped blood on the walls when he was in high school.
Mm. Jesus. What? This
Talk
is the
about
same one
dysfunction.
that unalived itself, right? That's the one that unalived itself.
Yes.
The one that went through it. Yeah. Jesus.
Yep.
Wow.
I told you it ate
Wow.
him from the inside out. It never stopped
I see.
until it destroyed him completely.
He was literally trying to get somebody to off him. Like he was hoping probably that the police would take him out. You
He
know that?
wished for death until the day he died.
Yeah. He
He
did.
wished for death until the day he died.
Yeah. Because she was supposed to be your protector. If it wasn't going to be your
Well,
dad, who is the one that's doing it, it had to be the mom, and she wasn't even doing that part of the job. That's crazy.
well,
Should have been
also,
protecting you guys.
my first memory of my brother was about 6 years old. I was around 2 when we met, and right after I met him, you know,
Mm-hmm.
my first memory of my brother is actually when he cut my hair with a pair of paper cutting scissors, and it pissed my dad off. He cut my curls out with a pair of paper cutting scissors, and as
Mm-hmm.
punishment, my dad grabbed him by his hair, um, and dragged him down 12 stairs, carpeted stairs in our house. The kitchen and dining room was downstairs, past those stairs, and so was the basement door in
Mm-hmm.
that particular house. This is the house that burned. Mind you, I was 2, he was about 6, and I was scooting down the stairs watching all this play out. I remember it well because it
Mm-hmm.
was so traumatizing for me. But I was not good on the stairs at all,
Mm-hmm.
because I'm really young at this point. But I
Right, right.
remember his nose hitting every stair. As he went down, it was red and bleeding. He was
Mm.
screaming. My mom was trying to calm my dad down. Oh, calm down, don't do this. As he was dragging my brother by his feet down the stairs. Um,
Ooh.
he started with his hair and it ended up his feet. all the way down the stairs. His nose was hitting every step. Dragged him through the dining room, also carpeted, through the kitchen, also carpeted. Try to drown him in the sink with the air full force on. And then whenever my dad's anger was spent, he left my brother in a crumpled heap on the floor. Mind you, he's about 6 years old at this point.
Hmm.
And he had just come to live with us too. And I'm sitting there watching everything play out, and my dad walks off. And you know what my mom has the audacity to say to my brother?
Hmm.
Mind you, he's 6 years old.
Right.
I remember her exact words to him. You shouldn't have made your dad mad.
Wow. She blamed it on him.
Yep.
She literally blamed it on the victim.
Yes.
Oh my God.
She said flat out, you shouldn't have made him mad. Did she provide him any comfort, even a hug? No, she too walked away. And I was sitting there sucking my thumb watching the whole thing play out.
That had to have been a horrible vision right there to see that happening.
I have a photographic memory.
Yeah.
And I can visualize it like it was yesterday.
Wow.
It replays all the time. So, yes, it was very traumatizing to even me just to watch it. And then that was only the beginning for him.
Jesus.
And the beatings that he endured after that. He was always very angry with me. My older brother was.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he would do spiteful things to try to hurt me.
Mm-hmm.
For example, whenever I was in kindergarten, obviously I'm 5 years old, I can't read. He was 9.
Right.
I figured he would know better what I was looking at was. It was these little razor blades, pure razor blades, whole razor blades in a package that I found on the windowsill in our bathroom. And I asked him, I said, what are these? He told me they were something to clean my teeth with.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
So I do what any 5-year-old would do. I stuck them in my little purse and took them to kindergarten with me and shared them with my friends.
Mm-hmm.
I passed them out in class.
Oh, Jesus.
Because they were something to clean my teeth with. I wanted my friends to have clean teeth too.
Right.
And mind you, these are actual flat razor blades.
Right. I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
I know exactly what you're talking about. Jesus Christ.
And whenever they discovered one of the other kids with the razor blades, they had to finally collect them all in my kindergarten class. They figured out who the culprit was, which was me. And I got a shit ton of trouble for that. And I didn't even know that it, what they really were, other than what my brother had told me. So whenever I got home, my dad beat the crap out of me. And then whenever I told him what happened and how I got the razor blades, then my brother got the hell beat out of him too.
Oh, Jesus.
Which just pissed him off more at me.
Wow.
So it was a total dysfunctional mess whenever I was growing up. There was no function to it at all. It was just a hot mess all the way around the board. Constant dysfunction. I don't even know how I passed my classes and learned what I did in school.
Yeah.
But I was always a good student. It was my brother that always had trouble in school. My mom would actually help him with his homework, and I always got ignored there. Whenever I would ask for help, like I asked my mom for help with learning how to read. I couldn't wait to learn how to read. But I asked her once to help me read. I wanted her to read to me like other parents do.
Yeah.
And she read to me so fast, I grabbed the book out of her hand and threw it.
Jesus.
Because I couldn't even understand a word she was saying. And I pitched it. I never had to read to me again.
Wow.
And I was probably myself about 6 years old at that point. First grade, I think. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they were just starting to teach us how to read and stuff.
Right.
The letters were in kindergarten. So, yeah, about first grade.
Right.
And from that point on, that's when I started doing my homework on my own, too. without supervision, stuff like that. I didn't. That was my escape. Was education. Was school. I was
Mm,
safe in school. Where they took corporal punishment out of schools. That was my safe haven. The one place I wasn't hit was in school.
right.
So to me, that was my safe haven. That was my escape.
Right. Wow. I
I
think that's
was
a
looking
lot.
forward to going to school.
I think that's a lot of kids who've been abused. Is their safe haven was like school time. It was like they were excited to go to school because you have kids who don't like school, who never had any problems at home, but the ones with problems at home, that was the place they wanted to always be, is at school.
Mhm,
As long as they could be there, they'll stay there at school.
mhm.
Even if they could do over, like after school, they could do, they loved being at school because of what they were going through at home. They didn't want to go to, they don't want to go back. And I don't
Right.
blame them.
But actually, in fifth grade, with all the chaos going on, I still ended up in the school spelling bee. I was runner up in the school spelling bee with all that chaos going on.
Yeah.
And that's also when I learned how to write poetry, which I
Hmm.
actually had 13 poems published by the time I turned 18.
Right.
I used them as a coping skill whenever I was in high school,
Hmm.
um, to deal with my emotions, because therapy was useless for me.
Right.
Therapists never helped me. I didn't trust him as far as I could throw him after I had a bad experience with my first therapist, because she was talking trash about my mom and my dad. And
Hmm.
well, I couldn't really say anything about my dad because what she was saying was true.
Right.
But I'm a very honest person, and what she was saying about my mom was inaccurate. And basically, I told her she was full of shit and ran
Hmm.
away from her office and told her to go fuck herself.
Wow. Hello, get to know. How are you? Oh my gosh. You've been through a lot. You've been through a
So,
lot.
and she's, last I heard, she's actually, that particular therapist is a sexual abuse therapist, specialist actually in this area.
Hmm.
Still.
Oh wow.
Oh yeah.
That's that's crazy.
But
How many foster cares did you go to?
I had 5 foster homes, a lockdown facility, not in that order. Um,
Hmm.
um, no, it was in that order. But the first, I had the shelter first, 5
Hmm.
foster homes. I'm going to try to keep it in order. Then I went to a lockdown treatment facility, and then a group home for 4.5 years.
So the foster care that you went to, was it the reason there was issues with that foster care? Is that why you have to go through 5 of them?
Well, my first foster home, it was different for each one.
Hmm.
Um, I already told you about my third foster home.
Yes.
But my first foster home, it ended because uh, I was 11. It was my first foster home, and she thought I was going to run away. I was standing on the porch, and I was mad. So my foster mom dragged me back into her house, and it ended up
Hmm.
a full-blown restraint. I refused to stay there. They removed me the next day and moved me to my second foster home.
Hmm.
My second foster home ended whenever I was sent home to
Okay.
my mom. I was reunified. And that's when that all transpired,
Right.
with my mom's new fiance beating the crap out of me and me trying to kill myself and my foster mom showing up.
Jesus.
Then my third foster home, see, whenever I put myself back in state's custody at 13, I originally tried to go back to my second foster home, but there were no beds available ever again. I
Mm.
couldn't be put back in there. There were no beds. They never had any openings again in that foster home.
Right.
So, um, they had to put me in my third foster home. And then, of course, I've already told you what happened in that home.
Yes.
The
That's
fourth
the one
foster,
with the drinking.
yep.
Hmm.
In the fourth foster home, I didn't have a problem with them at all. But it was only a temporary placement anyway. It was basically respite. I still count it
Okay.
because that was another home.
Hmm.
And then my fifth foster home, which was a regular foster home for me, I was so fed up after my third foster home, I refused to go in their house. I stayed in the
Hmm.
bushes, down the street, in the weeds. And the kids felt so sorry for me, they brought me sandwiches.
Oh, wow.
But I wouldn't go in. The social worker picked me up from there. And it was two social workers, a male and a female. The female was driving, and it was her talking. She told me that as punishment, basically, I was going to be put in a lockdown treatment facility. She didn't call it a treatment facility. She called it a lockdown facility.
Wow.
And I said, oh, really? Mind you, this car is moving. I'm 13 still. And I jumped out of her moving vehicle. I said, you're going to have to catch me first.
Wow. So that kind of facility, isn't that like where it's all girls? It's almost like a
Nope.
home for bad children? No.
It was a step down from
Misbehave, I should say, not bad, but misbehaving kids.
It was a step down from basically juvenile prison.
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm talking about. And it's all girls, right? Like they have all girls there?
They had a girls' cottage, two boys' cottages.
Mm-hmm. But they
So it
separate
was
y'all, right? They separate y'all?
no.
No?
Sorry.
It's okay.
No. They had a girls' cottage at that particular facility, and then they
Okay.
had two boys' cottages. So that was separate. Yes, living quarters were separate for boys and girls.
Right. Right.
Activities, school, all mixed.
Everything mixed. Okay, I got you. Yeah. Because I'm trying to remember. I don't think they went beyond that room, but they did have where they say they consider that misbehaved, but it's really not misbehaved kids. This is what they would say. They would say it's for misbehaved kids, but actually it's not for misbehaved kids. It was for people who went through something, but they don't have the care for them. They don't have any room in the foster care, or they didn't have a place for them to go at that time. So this is where they would put them. And then you would be with people who are actually misbehaving. So you got the misbehaving people with the good kids. And then that's how they would put it, is like you said, it's two separate areas. For the boys and the girls would not sleep in the same area, but they go to, school and whatever else is activities are all together, like mixture. I forgot what they called it on that movie.
Well, I think the reason I ended up putting me in there was actually for my own safety.
Yes.
Because I kept running away.
Oh.
But I started running away in kinship care, mind you.
Right.
Whenever I was 11, I was first placed in kinship care before I was ever placed anywhere else.
Mm-hmm.
Let me back up a little bit.
What is kinship care for people who don't know what that is?
Kinship care is family members.
Okay.
Immediate family members in the family. Basically, you're placed with other family members.
Okay.
That's kinship.
All right, got you.
So let me back up a little bit to whenever I actually did get help first.
Right.
There was a cop on a wild goose chase after that Friday. I stayed with my grandmother for the weekend.
Mm-hmm.
Off where we left off on that. She told me to tell the school the following Monday.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I go to school the following Monday. Mind you, I'm at a new school and I'm nervous, to really tell the adults what's going on, especially with my experience prior to that and the punishments I received for that.
Mm-hmm.
But I get called to the office about midday.
Mm.
And I had a really good teacher at that school. I still have contact with her as well. I keep her updated.
Oh,
She
that's
is
nice.
a wonderful, wonderful teacher.
That's
Wonderful
nice.
person. But she was there, and there was also a cop.
Mm-hmm.
On a wild goose chase. Somebody had called the police. I don't know who. But he told me somebody called the police and if I knew anything about that. And I flat out told him everything right then and there about everything that was going on. I didn't hesitate at all. And that's the day I was removed and put in kinship care.
Mm-hmm.
I think I was told that my dad tried to run away with my mom and my brother.
Mm.
Yet they never caught my dad for 5 years.
Wow.
They finally got my brother. And in kinship care, I tried to stay with my grandmother, but she had, my dad was stalking me. He knew where I was.
Mm-hmm.
He showed up on her doorstep. It was a lot of drama. She came out with a shotgun and told him she would blow his brains all over the pavement if he didn't leave.
Mm-hmm.
So I actually got protection from her at that point,
Right.
but she had cancer,
Oh
and
man.
she could
Sorry
not
about that.
she could not handle watching me grind my teeth in my sleep. It tormented her
Mm-hmm.
because I had PTSD really bad, and it
Right.
always came out in my sleep, and I would fight tooth and nail in my
Mm.
sleep, and I didn't remember a thing when I woke up.
Wow.
So she sent me
This
next
is
door.
your mom's mom or your dad's mom?
My mom's mom. My dad's
Mom.
parents died before I was born.
Oh wow. Okay.
I never met them. My
Mm.
dad was 17 years older than my mom.
Mm-hmm.
And all my siblings but one from his previous marriage were adults before I was born.
Oh wow. Okay.
They were grown. I was
Mm.
literally the start of a whole new family.
Wow.
But anyway, let's see, where was I? I can't remember where I was. Oh, kinship care. Oh, yes. So she sent me next door to stay with my
Mm-hmm.
aunt
Mm-hmm.
and my uncle. So my brother, that's where he picked up where my dad left off because he was staying there.
Mm-hmm.
And he would take a belt to me every morning before fifth grade to wake me up. My aunt was still in bed, sleeping. She didn't know anything about it, but you know, yeah, that was my wake up call every day. If they would have asked me, I would have told them what was going on, but nobody ever asked me what was going on.
Right.
And whenever I started running away, it was because I was safer in the woods by myself. Nobody was hurting me.
Yeah.
I had a reason for running away
Yeah. You
because
definitely
my
did.
brother was not taking a belt to me. My dad wasn't stalking me. If nobody knew where I was, guess what? Nobody could hurt me. That was my
Right.
mentality.
Exactly.
In my 11-year-old mind, I was safer in the woods by
Yes.
myself, and I really was.
Yeah.
To resolve me running away, which was seen as the problem by my aunt, she took a belt to her dress, one of her
Mm-hmm.
dresses, and tied me up.
Oh
I
Lord.
wriggled loose. I wriggled loose. All it did was piss me off.
Yeah.
I wriggled loose and ran away. So when that failed, my uncle took a belt to me himself.
Jesus.
So no matter what I did, I was getting the hell beat out of me.
Yeah.
No matter where I went. So the only place I was safe was state's custody.
Yeah.
Everybody else wanted to beat the hell out of me.
Jeez. That's horrible.
So no matter where I went in my family, I wasn't safe. My only chance of survival literally was state's custody.
Mm. Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, I would have died.
Yeah.
Flat out, I would have died. And as far as fast forward to whenever I was placed in the treatment facility, the lockdown treatment facility. Yes, I was running away, but my dad was still running free. Mind you, it took him 5 years to be caught.
Mm-hmm.
So he was still a danger to me.
Right.
If I was in lockdown and he didn't know where I was safer than if I was running away and not in that lockdown facility. So that's why I say I think they might have placed me there for my own safety, not from myself, but from my dad.
Right. Right.
Because he was still on the loose.
Wow. Mm-hmm.
And whenever I was sent back home after kinship care, because I was home for a period of time before I went into foster care the first time.
Yeah.
I was sent back home after kinship care, and my mom got out of the battered women's shelter.
Mm-hmm.
My dad was showing up at the back door trying to break it down. My mom would freeze, literally freeze. She could not function to even call 911. I had to do it for
Wow.
her.
The heck?
Yeah. And mind you, at that time, I was 10, 11 years old, or 11 years old at that point. Yeah.
Mhm.
So, and then before I went into foster care, I was placed in the hospital for trying to break out a window. That's what
Oh,
started it out for me going into state's custody.
wow.
So I started to react to what was going on in my environment.
Mm.
So, I wasn't Little Miss Perfect in state's custody at all. I was
Yeah.
safer myself in state's custody, but
Right.
I reacted. I
Yeah.
did. Hence, jumping out of a social worker's moving vehicle.
Mhm.
Whenever I got to the group home, I ran away, and one of the group home girls tried to stop me. She grabbed my shirt and said, "Come on." She was trying to, get me to not run away.
Yeah.
She wasn't being mean. She was trying to be helpful. I still talk to her to this day, too. She's one of my friends. But,
Mhm.
I said, "Here, you'll want it." Took off my shirt, ran down the street in my bra.
Wow. You
Yeah.
really didn't want to be there.
You want
Jesus.
it? Oh, here I go. But, yeah, there wasn't nothing stopping me.
Yeah, I see. Wow. He said, I'm out of here. I don't care if I have to go out in my bra, my panties. I'm out.
Yep. I literally ran down the street in my bra. I've
Wow.
been strapped to neighbors' cars. I like in restraint
Mhm.
for losing control as a teenager, stuff like that. So yeah, I mean, I did react.
Yeah.
Um,
I don't blame you. I mean, you've been through a lot. I mean, Jesus Christ.
but by the time I turned 18, I had learned a lot of how to cope,
Yeah.
honestly.
Mhm.
And I didn't have a choice much either because I was on my own. Nobody
Yeah.
cared if I ran away or not.
Right.
At 18, I was on my own. Make it on your own, Jessica. So, I was in college,
Mhm.
and I had to, make it on my own. So I
Yeah.
did. I did the best I could anyway.
Right.
I worked and I went to school and, I did the best I could with what I had.
You did amazing.
You know, I wasn't a partier. I never partied. I never got into the drug scene. The worst I've ever done is smoke cigarettes.
Right.
Uh, but yeah, I never had time to party. Not that I'm complaining.
Right.
It's not my thing. I'm more of a library goer
You didn't miss
than a
anything.
bar goer.
You didn't miss anything.
Yeah, I don't feel like I missed out on much there.
Nah.
I'm more of a nerd, a bookworm. I love my books,
Yeah.
but teach their own there. We all have our own niches there, our own hobbies, I
Right.
guess.
Definitely. Yeah, I've always been a homebody. I've been a homebody since I was little. Till this day, I'm still a homebody. I don't go clubbing. I'm not a drinker. Like I'll take a drink here and there, but I really don't like to drink too much because it makes me sick to my stomach. And it has to be like girly drinks. It can't be anything hard. It has to be the girly drinks.
Yeah,
Um,
I don't even drink at all. I don't like the taste of alcohol at all.
yeah,
To
that's why
each
I
their
like the
own with
girly
that, but
drinks. Yeah,
I don't judge. There. To
yeah,
each their own. It's
right.
just not my thing.
Yeah. And I think because you went through people being alcoholics in your home and that made you go, yeah, that's not going to be me. You know what I mean? A lot of
Yeah,
people when you get strength from seeing somebody doing something and you're like, that's not going to be me.
yeah, I did learn from her mistakes
Yes. Definitely.
on that. Yes, I
Yeah.
did.
Yeah.
And you know, but I can't say that I didn't follow in her footsteps in other ways because I
Mhm.
ended up in a domestically violent relationship and walked right into it, not blindsided me. Had
Oh,
no
wow.
idea what I was into until it was too late. And I
Mhm.
spent 4 months of torture being raped and repeatedly raped and blackmailed and everything else. I mean, he hit me and everything. I mean, it was 4 months of pure hell. And I
Mm.
literally had 4 days, got a DVP for 4 days to pack my shit and run like hell. And he had
Wow.
the audacity to come back out of the woodwork whenever I first started sharing my story in 2001.
Mhm.
And I refiled my petition because I don't want him anywhere near me.
Right. Definitely don't want.
Mind you, you know, uh, he was married, hitting on me on a dating site,
Wow.
abusing his current wife.
Wow.
Yeah, I took it on a radio show too and talked about the situation anonymously
Mm-hmm.
without using names.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it was ridiculous. And they called it when a rapist wants to date you.
That's crazy. You've been through it and then some even after you left the home. That's a lot.
Well, here's the twist that was with that particular situation. My
Mm-hmm.
mom had returned to my life recently. I had exiled her for a couple of years. She had
Mm-hmm.
recently returned to my life, mind you. Um, my I split up with who I eventually married
Mm-hmm.
for a short span of time. He was the person I was dating prior to this particular relationship. We had taken a break.
Mm-hmm.
He was dating somebody else, and I was too.
Right.
Um, my mom was living with me with this abusive man, and she refused to leave. She told me to bide my time.
Hmm. Wow.
So she played into that story too.
So you said
It
she
was
said to
actually,
bite your tongue, as in like let him do what he wants to do?
yes, bide my time
Mm,
while
mm.
he was raping me. I
Jesus.
was sleeping on her floor. I was running down the stairs butt naked to her
Mm-hmm.
to get away from him trying to rape me again.
Wow.
And the rapes were not just vaginal, I'll tell you
Yeah, I
that. And
got it.
and I could not even take a shower without him trying to break down the bathroom door
Wow.
with her in the house.
Wow. She should have definitely been charged with something.
So, but I obviously was not going to leave her there with him either. And
Right.
all my animals and my stuff filled up that entire house as well.
Wow.
The house was rented in his name. So the house was
Mm-hmm.
his. Everything in it was mine.
Mm.
Everything down to everything. It filled everything of mine filled up that entire house. He didn't
Yeah.
own anything in it.
And how long were you with him?
4 months.
4 months?
Hmm.
Wow.
And I ran like a mother. But I didn't do it without help.
Yeah.
Actually, my quote ex-boyfriend, who I
Mm-hmm.
eventually married, was the one who physically helped me move out of that house and literally helped me get away from that. I
Yeah.
had been updating him on what was going on, and he went to the police station and told the police what was going on. They threatened to arrest my ex-boyfriend for getting upset about what my current boyfriend was doing to me. They threatened to throw
What?
him in jail. Yes,
For what? He didn't even do anything.
exactly. They said if he got
All he
involved,
was doing is protecting you.
right,
Oh my
they saw
gosh.
him as the villain, and he wasn't.
Mm,
That's how
mm.
fucked up it was. When they
So did
came
they
to,
get him
I
though?
called the police when he hit me. No,
Oh
he
my
never got
God.
punished for anything.
Wow.
He got charged with 4 felonies for insurance fraud, and he has no criminal background on his record. No trace of it at all.
Ooh.
You tell me.
Wow.
And I
That's
can prove he got the 4
horrible.
felonies too. It's publicly Googleable that he got the 4 felonies,
Yeah.
but they're gone. Off his record, he's got a clean slate. Tell me how that's possible.
Wow. Well, you know, like I always say to people, they may not get it on the earth, but they sure are going to get it in hell. For sure, they're going to
Then
get it
on
in
top of that,
Jesus.
when he did hit me and I called the police, they made me leave. I went to the domestic violence shelter. He
Mm-hmm.
blackmailed me with a sex video he found in my stuff whenever he was hiding my shit whenever
Oh
I was
my
gone.
God.
that I had made with my ex-boyfriend. He threatened to put it on the internet, which would have ruined my
Wow.
career. I was a social worker, mind you, which would have ruined my career if he had put it on the internet.
Right, right. Wow.
So he used that as blackmail to get me to come back and to repeatedly rape me and keep me there
Wow. Wow, 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 wow.
for that 4 months. Whenever I finally got a hold of that freaking video, I burned it. That's when I went and
Yeah.
got my DVP. Ran like hell.
Mm-hmm.
Packed my shit and ran. I had
I
to
don't
plan
blame
that
you.
shit out.
Wow.
So it was absolutely ridiculous. I didn't get any
Definitely
help from the
ridiculous.
hospital either.
Mm.
I would have got help from the home from the domestic violence shelter. They were the only helpful ones to me. But I had to leave there. They even found a home for my dog temporarily while I was in the shelter.
Mm-hmm.
So I could stay in the shelter. But because he
Mm.
blackmailed me, I had to leave. And whenever I tried to come back, they didn't do the same thing. They didn't
Wow.
offer the same thing. You know what I mean?
Right.
It was a
Right.
one-time deal, basically. Because they figured I would just leave again.
Yeah.
So it ruined that ability for me to go to the shelter, really, because I
Yeah.
had to go back because I was blackmailed. And whenever I tried to leave again, there wasn't as much help available as there was prior to that when I left the first time. I went to the
Right.
hospital. They told
Mm-hmm.
me it would be my word against his because I lived with the man.
Right. Wow.
So there was no use in doing a rape kit because they knew the
Right.
evidence would be there.
Mm. Hello. Wow. 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 Wow.
That's the kind of help I received whenever I was in a domestic violence relationship, and it was pathetic.
Yeah. It
To
seemed like
have him
everything was turned.
served, I had to have
Mhm.
the cops meet me in front of the house and arrange it. And he was served right in front of me.
Oh, wow. I've
Only
never
had
heard of them serving.
only had 4 days to pack my shit.
Wow. I've never heard of
He
them
even
serving somebody in front of the person.
he was so brazen. After he was served, he went down to the courthouse to intimidate the female judge that issued me my DVP.
Mm-hmm.
He was told to leave.
Mm.
Because she was a woman, he could intimidate the judge too.
Wow. That didn't happen. Thank God.
That's how brazen that man was about what he was doing.
Yeah,
And
he
I
didn't
know
care.
why. Because whenever he crawled back out of the woodwork like a cockroach,
Mm-hmm.
I talked to a few more of his exes. I talked to
Mm-hmm.
his current wife who he was abusing. I talked to other people that he had dated prior to me or after
Mm-hmm.
me, up to 4 people. I talked to 4 people, including myself, of course, but 3 other people besides myself that he
Yeah.
had been in relationships with, and 100% he had abused.
Mm.
So he's gotten away with this long term. Every relationship he's in, he abuses the women he's with.
Wow. That's sad. That is so
Yet he
sad.
has a spotless
Even women
record.
on that. Yeah. That's crazy.
There's a
I
lot.
wonder if he knew somebody there.
I don't know. I really don't know.
Makes you wonder.
But I did take him back to the court to try to refile for my domestic violence petition,
Mm-hmm.
and they basically said it sounded far fetched to them and threw it out.
What
Yep.
the heck? Oh my God.
So yeah, and he hired a lawyer. So I filed or I filed a report with the police. Nothing
Mhm.
was ever done about that either. No charges were filed. So he never got anything out of that.
Yeah, it sounded like he knew somebody.
Yep.
That's what it sounded like to me.
Something.
Especially because if he's getting stuff expunged, he's definitely most likely knew somebody there. Wow.
Yeah. It's ridiculous, but I literally can prove that he had 4 felonies on him. Because I was there in court whenever he plea bargained, saying he was guilty to those 4 felonies. And it's online. You can Google it. I can Google it. Anybody can Google it. It's Googleable.
Hold on. Would I be, no, I don't want to say his name on here. Can you put it in the private chat? I could look it up.
Insurance fraud. Huntington, West Virginia.
All right.
What he did was he plea bargained for having his truck burned
Mm-hmm.
and threw his friend under the bus.
Of course.
And
Anything
whenever I went to court to testify,
mm-hmm.
and when I went to court to testify, I found out what he had done and refused to testify against his friend.
Mm-hmm.
Because I knew what he had done.
Let me see. Is that Campbell County men plead guilty to insurance
It
fraud?
is.
Yep.
Yep.
It's
That's
here,
the
y'all.
one.
It's definitely here. They got a whole article on it.
Yep. Very real,
Yep.
and it's not on his record. Nowhere to be found.
Dang. Sentenced to 6 months in jail. That's it. And suspended on both place probation 1 year, ordered to pay all court costs. Wow. That's it?
Yep.
Looked like he tried to burn a car.
He had his truck burned.
Conspiracy.
He burnt his
conspired
truck.
to burn a car. Wow.
Yeah, he burned his truck.
Wow.
I turned him in for it.
Okay. Some people are just psychotic.
Yep.
Wow. It's definitely there, y'all. Wow.
Yeah, I'm not full of shit.
No, you're definitely
My
not.
story couldn't be
Definitely
made up.
not.
I'm not
She's
that
telling the
creative.
truth, y'all. It's there. I seen it with my own 2 eyes. The name, everything matches.
Oh yeah.
Wow. And he doesn't have, and it's expunged. That's actually federal, right? When they do that type of thing with the insurance fraud.
I'm not sure.
That's yeah, that's
I'm
considered
honestly
federal.
not sure.
Yeah, it's federal when they do frauds like that. Insurance frauds is federal. When they take money from their, take money from their own business, that's a fraud. That's also federal as well. So anything to do with like money type of thing, insurance and things like that is federal. The only thing you go to prison, regular prison, would be like, red rumming, battery, DV, things like that. That's what that is. Wow. That's crazy. He definitely had it on there. And that's not something you could take off of there unless you know somebody. There's no way he didn't know anybody. Wow.
Yeah, I think, well, I mean, he ratted his friend out and threw him under the bus.
Yeah, but that does not expunge his record. It just means that
Save
they
his own.
cleared it.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. I know he was still guilty, but it's not on his record.
Wow. Ooh-wee. So where is he now?
Yeah.
He's out running around free?
Somewhere in the key. Yeah, he's out free running around, probably doing the same old shit.
Right.
Different day. To another female.
Right.
And probably worse.
Possible. Yeah, it's definitely possible. Especially because it's more of now he's considered himself as an experienced person doing what he's doing to women,
Oh yeah,
abusing women.
he is very experienced.
You know, yeah,
He's
all that.
even his kid's mom. Whenever I was with him, he told me that whenever she took his kids with her, he ran into her. He literally ran into her car and took the kids from her. That's how he got custody of his kids. He literally wrecked into her car. He wrecked into her car, took the kids from her, and dared her to try to get them back.
She didn't go get them?
That came from his. No, he told me.
Wow.
That's how he got custody of his kids. She was I guarantee you she was too afraid to try to get them back from him. To my knowledge, she still carries a gun to protect herself against this man.
I would too. I would too carry a gun and whatever weapon I can get my hands on.
So,
Jesus.
But I literally couldn't make this shit up. I'm not that creative.
I don't think you can make that up. That's a lot. Everything you've said, that's just a lot. Hold on one moment, please. I'm going to need to put a commercial. It's an urgent call. Give me 1 second, you guys. Or not a commercial, but Okay.
Welcome, Dolphin fan and Wolfpack Nation.
Sorry, that was my sister. It was a little urgent, you guys. I don't ignore my sister's calls ever for nothing. Okay, so yeah. So basically, I feel like he knew somebody some way, and then we have a situation where he's doing it again and he's still getting away with it. So when is it going to stop?
Right.
When is it going to stop, y'all? This is ridiculous. And you've been going through this since God knows when, like since you were little, and it hasn't. So it's stopped now. So you're good and you're clear from any of that, right? As far as like you don't have anybody that's
Oh
putting their
no,
hands on you.
nobody's hurting me now.
Okay.
I've
So
been
you're
good
on
since
your
my dad
own,
died.
huh?
So I've been good since 2020.
Okay.
That's when
Okay.
my brother
So,
and my dad died.
okay, I got you. Wow.
I got my life 2020. 36 years.
Mm-hmm.
Finally got my life, period.
Yeah.
That was, you know, my sister hid my dad's ashes whenever he died, and I couldn't get a traditional closure. So
Mhm.
I had to get creative with my closure,
Right.
and sharing my story is my closure
Yes.
to 36 years of hell. However, um, my philosophy, my thought process on it was um, the best way to thank the people who were kind enough to help me when they didn't have to,
Right.
and there were many of those.
Mhm.
The best way to thank them is by paying my story forward, sharing it to get my closure, but also paying it forward to possibly help somebody else.
Yes. Yes, definitely. Amen to that. Definitely. Definitely. Because
But,
there's a lot of people out there that's going through this and are still going through it. Like they have not,
right,
it hasn't stopped for them.
right. So to me, that's a win-win-win. It
Yes.
flips my negative story into a positive that can possibly help other people.
Yes,
To
ma'am.
me, that makes everything that I went through, everything that I've gone through worth it to me
I
because it
get what
gives
you're
it
saying.
purpose and meaning.
Right. Exactly. I understand exactly what you mean by that. Um, and there's a lot of people who do need help to get out of it, how to teach. They need to have people like you to do what they call public speaking, how to get out of situations, because there's some of them they just can't get out of it because they're being threatened left and right, being put their hands on. You better not step out that door or else kind of thing. You can't
Oh,
have
that's
no
why it's not a
friends,
threat.
huh?
Leaving is the most dangerous time for people in domestic violence
Yeah,
situations. I'm sorry, that's not a threat. That is a promise.
yeah,
When they
exactly.
say they're going to do something, you best bet they probably will.
Yeah, definitely. And if anybody like has a situation, anybody that listens to now, and whoever's in the chat and whoever is going to come and listen to this live, y'all need help. Make sure you get help. Don't stay if because sooner or later you may not be alive, because that's the next step to getting beatings. Okay.
Yep.
And then if you're being sexually abused, then definitely you need to get help. Find somebody that you can trust to talk to, and they can get you help, because you should not have to go through that.
Well, the way I see it, with the things that I've been through, which I've only told you a portion,
Mhm.
I've got a very extensive, extreme story.
Mhm.
Uh, just what I've said is only a portion of the reality. But
Oh, wow.
with the things that I have gone through in my life, the background, the history, and things of that nature, um, the way I see it is if I can go through all that I have with the little bit that I had to contend with, to work with, I
Mhm.
think other people can do just as much as I have, accomplished just as much as I have, if not more.
Amen to that.
So there's hope.
Definitely. Definitely.
I haven't accomplished the most wonderful things in the world or anything like that. However, given my background, given my history, I think I've done pretty good for myself.
Oh, what you told us earlier, you definitely did wonderful for yourself. Once you got out of all that, you You have been doing wonderful for yourself.
So I think that anybody has the ability to rise above
Mhm.
anything they go through, no matter what it is. It's a matter of choice
Right,
about how you respond.
right,
Your reaction, your response is the most important.
right,
No matter what you go through and other people do to you, your response is always the most important.
right. And always remember to break that chain. Don't start doing what they did to you, because you should know how it feels to go through what you went through, and why would you want to put that on someone else? So
Exactly.
definitely break that chain.
Well, my brother, he chose that route.
Yeah. That's what
He
I'm
chose to
saying.
do
He
church.
didn't break that chain, but he also had mental
Yes.
inability to think straight
Mhm.
anyway, right? He just
Yes.
learned what he saw.
He was a premature baby that was
Mhm.
born with borderline mental retardation
Right,
to begin with, before
right,
he ever, experienced any abuse.
right.
So he
Wow.
started out with health problems anyway.
Right.
Not that it's an excuse. However, he was also born with an extra female gene, Klinefelter's, which
Oh, wow.
causes fertility and other things as well.
Right,
So that was a contributing factor as well in a lot of the things that he did. However, it's there is no excuse for the behavior that he had. But,
right, right,
you know, it is one of those things where I do understand the abuse he suffered. I do understand the mental incapacities that he did have as well.
right,
So I don't hold him as accountable as I would my dad, which had high functioning, and he was just a sick monster.
right. He's definitely a sick monster, 100%.
The only bad experience that I know of that uh, because I asked him what his childhood was like.
I was going to ask you that next.
I did.
Go ahead.
I inquired what his childhood was like. He had a wonderful childhood, other than one teacher told him he'd never amount to anything.
Mhm.
Yep. One teacher told him he'd never amount to anything. That was his worst experience as a kid.
Okay, so he has never been abused.
No,
I wonder where he learned it from.
I don't know. He was just that sick.
Hmm.
He was the youngest. Maybe he was the youngest of 13.
Okay.
So maybe he had something wrong with his genetic makeup.
Maybe, or maybe he just never told anybody and he had it and somebody did something to him.
I think he would have told me in the years before he died that I conversed with him via letters,
Yeah, it's possible.
because I did inquire, just
Because
generally speaking.
it's harder for guys. It's harder for guys to talk about this kind of thing, with abuse. It's harder for guys to talk about it. Even though they're grown-ups, it's hard for them to talk about it more than it is for women. Women are more open and likely to talk about it versus guys. So maybe he just didn't want to tell you that part of his life, or maybe he didn't remember that this happened to him, because something made him do what he did, like go crazy like that. That's just like
He was just
monster.
abusive. Not
Yeah.
everybody that is abusive has had abuse, if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
Do they get it from somewhere? Their own choice.
But he definitely hates women. I mean, I know he did things to your brother, but he hates women. A lot of
He hated people.
huh?
He hated all people.
People just in general. Yeah.
Yes.
He definitely hated women as well. A lot, like way more than
Male or
anybody.
female, it didn't matter to him. As long as he had
Mhm.
a gun, he'd pull it on anybody.
Yeah, that's the control part for sure. He definitely had a lot of control issues.
Yes.
He definitely had that. Mm, 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 mm.
He was a torment to live with.
I'm sure he's being tormented right now in hell. So, Jesus Christ. I
Oh,
hate putting it like that about the dead, but hey, that's one person. I don't feel bad about saying that.
but I can actually share with you. I've got a screenshot on my phone here. If you're interested in hearing what my older brother commented on the first interview that I did. A
Oh, of
couple
course. Yeah, go ahead.
hold on,
I'm
let me
gonna mute
pull
so that way they can hear it better.
I'm going to pull it up.
Okay.
I got to find it here. I think this might. Hello, I'm Jessica's half brother. We had the same father, me being one of 5 children he had from his first marriage. At 60, I am much older than she, but I wanted to confirm the descriptions she gave of our father. Prior to her, my mother and siblings and myself suffered the extreme abuse of my father, including numerous attempts to kill us. When I was 16, he stabbed me with a kitchen knife, and I ended up living on the street for 6 months. He left, and I moved back home only to have him come back to terrorize us until one day I had enough and beat the crap out of him. Told him if he ever came back, they would take him out in a body bag. My father was a bully, and as with bullies, he continued until someone stood up to him and paid him back for his actions. I guess it was then he started abusing Jessica. As she said, our father was not a good man, and the world is a better place without him. I'm very proud of Jessica and the progress she is making moving forward in her life.
Wow, your brother wrote that?
Yes,
Oh
that
my
was
gosh.
my brother from his previous relationship, his previous marriage.
Okay. Wow.
One of them, one of the 5. Now, I did have a brother that died of esophageal cancer. And unfortunately, he decided to try to go to law school to try to get my dad out of prison. I have a sister who paid for my dad's expenses while he was in prison the entire time he was in there. She's also the same one that hid his ashes. So
Jeez.
yes, I I don't talk to my other 2 sisters.
Jesus. 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 Mm-mm.
But then again, I never really knew much of any of them. They were from the previous family.
Yeah, that would be like your what? Your half or no, not your half, your
Half,
step, right?
no, half.
Half?
Yeah,
Oh, that's
because
right. That's your brother. Yeah, that's your dad.
yeah,
Wow.
we all have the same dad. Yep.
Wow, wow, wow.
Yeah, and my half brother that sexually abused me and killed himself, he was from my mom's previous marriage, so he was half too. The
Right.
only brother that I would have had that was 100% brother to me was murdered.
Mm.
That my mom and dad had together, other than me.
Wow. It sounded like he just had kids just so they could abuse them.
I don't know, but that's what he did, and he abused his ex-wife
Mm.
too, to the point that she had him hospitalized for it.
Yeah. Wow. Mm-mm-mm.
He was just flat out a monster. He had a freaking what do you call that, a record a mile long. My dad did. He was just flat out a monster to everybody. He was a danger to everybody, including himself.
Yeah.
Pulling guns on neighbors. I mean, he was a torment to every family member he had, and everybody around him suffered because of him.
Jesus.
He was just a torment and a monster
Yeah.
to anybody he came in contact with.
Oh, Lord have
And
mercy.
as far as silence, um, that was enforced by any means necessary, as was the fact that I couldn't have any friends.
Yeah.
Like, he thought, whenever I was about 4 years old, he thought I was coming to ask him to go play with the neighborhood kids. So, you know
Mm-hmm.
what his response to that was? Just because he thought I was going to ask to go play with the neighbors,
What was it?
he backhanded me across the face and knocked me over.
Oh, Jesus.
Mind you, I'm 4 years old. I remember around that same time span having a bruise where he kicked me the size of my butt cheek, on my
Mm,
butt cheek.
Jesus.
As far as the actual physical abuse, I don't go into the details of the sexual, but the physical abuse that he
Yeah.
told me didn't hurt because, you know, according to him, it didn't hurt. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
when he would beat the crap out of me,
Mm-hmm.
was pulling me by my hair, slamming me against walls, but it didn't hurt. I wasn't allowed to cry. He would have me put my face up against the wall,
Mm,
pace behind me, and then slam my nose up against the wall every so often,
Jesus.
telling me not to cry because it didn't hurt. Um, he used a baton on my brother, my majorette baton, on his head.
Jesus.
Um, belts were common. We had to pick our
Mm.
own switches too, which were used on us. And if they weren't big enough, he picked them himself, and they were like more like a tree branch.
Mm.
Let's see here. Yeah, he would throw anything that he could find at us. There was nowhere to run, nowhere to hide. He would literally take the mattress off the bed if we hadn't under the bed.
Oh, Jesus. He, to me, is there another word besides monster that's worse than monster? More like a demon, maybe?
I don't know. All I know it was hell. I remember.
It's horrible.
I remember. I was about 6 years old, being on my hands and knees praying to God to save me. It it didn't happen, but there was nobody there to save me.
Right.
But I remember being on my hands and knees praying to God that God would save me.
Right.
And I was about 6 years old at that time.
Jesus. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy.
But
Hmm. Yeah, it's like
um,
he's demonic. He's not normal at all. Like he needs a lobotomy. Well, at the time when he was alive, he needed a lobotomy to be
I,
a whole nother person because that's horrible what he did to you and others. Mm, mm, mm.
but he was quite a monster. Yeah. But I've run into two monsters, in my life, true monsters.
Yeah.
One I was in a relationship with,
Right.
and my dad.
Yep.
Both of them are just as bad as each other.
Yeah. Definitely. After what you said, what he did to you, both of
Mhm.
them. Yeah, that's definitely. You can't even. I mean, you can't say one is worse than the other. They're just both
They're both
horribly.
horrible
Yeah, they're
monsters.
both horrible monsters and demonic.
Yep.
Wow. Mm-mm-mm.
So, you know, but outside of those two, I don't consider my brother a monster because he was made a monster.
Yeah.
He wasn't self made. I don't know the history on the guy I was in a relationship with as far as his experiences or anything as a child, nothing like that really.
Yeah.
However, or what made him the monster that he is, but all I know is he is a monster. You
Well, I
know,
can tell you one thing. He hates women for sure.
he definitely doesn't deserve to have a woman in his
No,
life.
no, he does not deserve to have a woman, but he hates women.
Yeah,
He hates women a lot. Like there's a reason behind it. It's there's something that happened in his past for him to be like that with women only, especially. Wow. Mm, mm, mm.
hmm. But those are the only two monsters that I would consider monsters that I have actually clearly run into in my life. Now, everybody else, looking at the big scheme of things,
Yeah.
either didn't hurt me at all or helped me.
Yes.
So the good far outweighed the bad, and that added to my resilience.
Yes.
Everything depends on how you look at it.
Hmm.
And yes, I was hurt severely by two, but
Yes.
I was helped tremendously by
Right.
many.
And you said you don't have any kids, right? Is
No,
that by choice?
yes,
Okay. So you don't want to have kids because of possible things happening to them, right?
a multitude of things compact with that. I don't have kids outside of marriage.
Mm-hmm.
I divorced 10 years ago. I refused to have kids in that marriage. I didn't want to
Right.
have kids with him. So, and I never remarried. So, yeah, it just never
I
happened.
understand religious reasons. I got you.
Oh no, I'm not even religious. I'm spiritual, but
You're not okay spiritually. Okay, so spiritually, you have kids out of marriage. Like you want, if you were to get married again, then it's possible. But
yeah,
right now, yeah, definitely. I get what you're saying. I get
it's
it.
possible if I remarry. But I believe that kids need a stable home,
Yes,
and that's just you know to each their own. I know single parent families are great,
right,
and some of them are great, and
right.
everything else. But it is to each their own on that. And I prefer a
Yes,
traditional family setup if possible.
yeah, definitely. You don't want to have issues in marriage and or in a relationship before you have kids, for sure. Yeah,
And
you got to.
I also don't want to have kids with just any man either.
Right. I understand that. Trust me, I understand that.
I'm
I've been with my
extremely
husband for going
yeah.
on 37 years now. We're almost 30, we're going on 37 years. And we have 5 beautiful children, gorgeous boys. Yeah, they're
So
all grown up now, though. They're all grown up from 25 to 37. Yeah. I started when I was 20, right after
well,
we
I
got
might be too old by now. I'm 40 to have
married.
kids of my own, but I can always adopt if I decide I want kids or
Right.
something.
Yeah, it's not
Yeah.
too old. It's 40 years old is not too old because my mother-in-law had her last child when she was 45 years old and healthy, smart, nothing wrong with her at all, like at all.
Hmm.
So it's definitely possible to have a child after 40.
Oh, okay.
Definitely. I mean, if you ever decide to, no
Yeah.
pressure. Because I love having kids. If I could have more kids, I would have more kids, but um, God said that was enough. I had to have a partial hysterectomy because I couldn't, my uterus was too swelled up to be able to have it in there in my body like that. So
Yeah.
it had to be removed. But I mean, I would have definitely had more children. I love having kids. It's a joy for me,
Oh,
but
yeah. I love kids. I absolutely adore kids. I'd
I,
love to have kids,
I
but
believe you.
kids aren't the problem.
Yes,
Men are, and trusting a man to have a kid with.
definitely. I get what you're saying. Trust me, I get it because,
If I got to be attached to that man for 18 years, I want to make sure it's the right man.
amen. Amen. You got to make sure that he's not the kind of person that's going to go psychotic after a few months of being married and all that. Because sometimes you have to be careful with who you get in a relationship with because they
Yeah.
act one way until you get into a true relationship with them, and then they show their true color. So you might
Oh,
want to
yeah.
check their background, just like
Well,
they
it's
do
just like
and get
that
a
domestic
job.
violence relationship that I got into with that monster. I didn't
Hmm.
have any clue whatsoever going in. I was blindsided totally
I bet
whenever
you
he
were.
hit me that first
Wow.
time.
Mm,
But
mm.
I found out real fast.
Yeah, I see. Wow. Oh, Lord have mercy. Mm,
So
mm, mm.
never made that mistake again.
Yeah. Does
I
anybody have
learned
any
one.
questions in the chat for Jessica? Anybody have any questions? I mean, you can keep talking if you have any more, anything else to talk about, but I just like to give them an option if they have a question. And if you don't, and you could answer if you want to, or don't answer if you don't want to, because I don't answer if I don't want to. Because I've had people come in my chat and I'm like, you can ask me any question. And then they ask me a question. I'm like, not answering that one. Because there's things I don't talk about, and especially if it's about me.
I'll just wait for questions.
Okay, so tell us about the
Oh,
cats. It
shoot.
makes you laugh. Oh, okay. She said, tell us about the cats that make you laugh.
I got a wasp in here flying around too.
Uh-oh. You don't want to get stung. I'm allergic to them things.
Yeah, I just noticed, and it's getting closer to me. So
Yeah.
I'm moving
I'm
on.
allergic to wasps, you guys. I've gotten stung by one, or I guess that, yeah, I got stung by one, and I ended up going to the doctors real quick, and they had to give me a steroid injection with the antibiotic because my left chest swelled up so bad from getting stung So he was like, yeah, that's a good thing you came here because you're definitely allergic to those things. And it was like on the top of my chest, not my actual chest,
Yeah,
but
those
yeah,
waspers can sting you more than once too.
yeah.
They're
TMI,
mean.
I'm sure, right? What'd you say?
They're mean.
Yeah, they are. They're very mean. I mean, I was walking around the school one time. I was in the, where they were playing football in the backfield, and I was just walking, minding my business, and I swung my hand, I guess, on the wrong way, and it got me on my hand. I have a picture. My hand swelled up like, like if, you know how when you blow into a glove, like that kind of thing. She wants to know about the cats that make you laugh. She's trying to get rid of the wasp before he gets her.
Yeah, I got it bagged, I think. Hold on. I'm going to tie the bag and throw it away.
Okay,
Yeah,
she
it's
got
in
it.
the can.
She got it. She's she's yeah, yeah. I would not be trying to get it. I would be swinging it. I'll be spraying it up, making sure that it's down before I smash it and put it outside. I'm not bagging it and letting it free for nothing.
I tied the bag and it's in the trash can. So.
Okay, so you actually unalived it.
No, I didn't kill it. I just suffocate. I'm sure.
I unalive them. I am not letting them things fly around. No, I'm allergic to them, and they have no business in my house. If I didn't allow them, if I didn't, ask them to come in, they need to stay outside. I'm just saying. So, what about your cats that make you laugh, especially
Oh yeah,
Edward?
Edward's my dance partner. He'll chase me around if I turn music on. Jump on my arms from the floor.
Oh,
He
that's so
likes to give me
adorable.
cat kisses. He's very, very affectionate.
Oh,
He's a snuggle butt.
what kind of cat is it?
He's just a black mixed breed cat.
Oh,
I got him as a kitten with his whole sibling group pretty much. And
mm,
I still have him and his sister.
mm-hmm.
She's a Siamese. She's sweet too. She comes when
Oh,
called like a dog.
mm-hmm.
She knows her
Jesus.
name. They're a funny pair. And then cats.
Oh my gosh. Did you just say your cat barks like a dog?
Oh no, no, but my dog does pee in the litter box like a cat.
I think that is adorable when they do that because I prefer that than to have to go outside when it's raining, and they know they don't like going out there when it's raining. I had a cat. It was a gray tabby, and this is the first time I've ever heard a cat hiss like the one that she did. Now, it's not like a hiss as in like when she's upset. It's the one where you're showing like you have like little laser with the red light, and she's going, and I was like, "What the heck is that? What's wrong with my cat? Is she having a convulsion or what? What's going on here?" It's something that cats do when they see that red laser. And I did not know that though. So I thought something was wrong with my cat, but it was nothing wrong with her. She was just tripping off of that light. I don't know if it's like something that irritates them or what, but she sure was making that noise every time we showed that light.
Now there is one thing I wanted to mention. My story overview is actually being published as a chapter in Faces of Foster Care 3, which is being published in like 2 days.
Okay. Oh, and you guys, she also has a book that she's writing too. Just so y'all know. Whenever she does finish writing a book, I will let you guys know and I'll post it in my chat. So if you guys are interested in getting her book, you can also, get her book.
Yeah, I'm actually taking a writing class right now. By it's with Leslie Fields in Alaska. And she's an author herself and a teacher.
Okay.
But yeah, I'm working on her master class. She has a whole module set that she's created and stuff that I'm working through to work on writing my book.
Mm-hmm.
She's very sweet.
So Darlene is saying your cat is basically jealous. She wants all your time because she said when when she gets on video chat, LOL, he gets he gets in front of her mouth and it's like he's saying, "No, don't talk to her. Talk to me."
Oh no, that's just him being loving, and he likes to give me kitty kisses.
Oh, that's adorable. I
He's a
miss my
very
cat. I
affectionate
miss
cat.
my cat. I have a Chihuahua. I miss my cat because they didn't get along. I had to let my cat go because the dog was given to me as a gift from my sister. She gave her Lola to me, and the cat and my dog did not get along, y'all. They were both losing hair. I was like, no, this is not healthy. But I did go visit her and go see her and stuff until she got comfortable with the household. She actually went back to the home she came from. So it wasn't like I just sent her off to somebody else. I sent her off to her parents, back to her parents. And they love her to death over there. And I'm so glad they're taking care of her so well. But and now I'm like, man, I should have tried a little bit longer, but I did try 3 weeks of them too, but they they were losing hair left and right. They were stressing each other out. My cat was going up on top of my cabinets, and my cabinets are like over feet, like at least I'd say 10 feet high. And this cat would just jump up there. And I have a picture of her way up there. And then here's my dog barking and making barking and growling at her. And then she's hissing and they're going back and forth. And now it's like, wow. It's cute. He jumps into her arms when she plays music and they dance. Oh, I think that would be so cute to see that. You should do videos on that.
Yeah,
That would be so
fun.
cute.
He literally jumps from the floor into my arms to dance with me.
Oh,
If I turn on music, he'll
do you
chase me
have
around just to do that.
do you have an actual channel? Like, do you do videos on your channel? Because I know Darlene does.
I just post pictures on my accounts basically right now.
Okay. Because I'll put your channel on the.
But I can share my.
Okay.
One thing I'd like to share is my quote.
Okay, go for it.
My quote is, "With the hell I've lived, nothing could stop me from chasing my dreams. Give me hell, I'll rise to the challenge. I may fall, but I'll always get back up and keep fighting. I will rise. I am insatiable fire. I not only survived my past, but I overcame it. If I can, you can too, and do even more. You are not alone."
Okay. Darlene said you did. Oh, you did say that. You did say you have TikTok. I have TikTok as well. I'm actually monetized on TikTok, but I don't really go and do anything with that one lately. I'm hearing there's going to be some changes or some deletions, I guess you could say, on TikTok.
Mm-hmm.
Like they want to get rid of TikTok because they allow too many things to happen on there that should not be going on. Did you hear about that?
Yeah, I heard they wanted to shut it down. I just didn't know why. I think I read
it's because it's something to do with kids. They
Ah.
even allow like what they call them, inmates. Okay, they let inmates. They're able to view things on there as well.
Oh.
Yeah, that's why they tell people to make sure that when they make their account, make sure you put a name to it or something, because all those numbers mostly are, majority of them, I'm not going to say all of them, but some of them are actually inmates. And some of them are people who have not set up their accounts. So a lot of people don't talk to people, or they don't allow them into, like they don't follow them, because it's like, okay, I'm not following somebody with just numbers. You need to have a name and you need to have a profile. But the inmates don't have a profile, or they don't have an avatar, and they don't have anything but numbers on there because they're not allowed to do anything. Like they can't make an actual account and do anything with it.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like having bots in there is basically what it is. And TikTok, they want to get rid of TikTok for that reason, for children's safety. I mean, I don't know if I agree with them or disagree with them, but I know that children first for me. I mean, that's how I feel about that.
Well, they may want to separate TikTok into a children's TikTok and an adult TikTok, maybe.
Maybe they should, yeah.
That way it's channeled for the different age groups.
Yeah. Well, I mean, and you also
Appropriate.
have to remember some of these parents are putting their kids on video to get more followers, to get more clout off of their kid. You know what I'm saying? And they
Yeah.
have them dressed provocatively. I'm just saying, they just dress them all sorts
No
of
matter how provocatively somebody is dressed, it
different.
doesn't control somebody's choice to do
It
something.
should not. It should not. But you know what? A lot
There
of
is
them
no
are out there
excuse.
saying that that's exactly why they do what they do, or whatever, however you want to put it. You know what I'm saying? It's sad that they think like that, because they should be able to wear whatever they want to wear. But you got
That's
pervs
blaming
out
the
there.
victim.
Yeah. Blaming
That,
the victim. Exactly. Blaming the victim.
yeah, you can't blame somebody else for somebody else's actions.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
You shouldn't. You should not. You're right. And even like when they say a woman, they'll say, "Oh, I raped the woman because of what she was wearing." Guess what? And she can wear what you want to wear. That does not give you the right to put your hands on her.
that's called you made a bad choice there, buddy. You shouldn't have done that.
Exactly.
You should
Learn to
know better, basically.
exactly. You should have known better. Exactly. What
That's
is your
called you have
TikTok?
no class and you're too impatient and you just wanted to grope her.
Definitely. And you're just a
And you
perv.
chose to
Period.
do that because you're a pervert.
Yep. You're a perv. What is your name on your TikTok? Same name?
Trying to think. Jasmine Lilac.
Say it again.
I'm Jasmine Lilac 1983, I believe, on TikTok.
Jasmine.
Jasmine Lilac. I'll put it in the chat.
Okay. Thank you. Gotcha.
I'm that on Instagram too.
Oh, okay. I have Instagram as well. Like I said, I don't stay active on.
Personal hobbies on and pictures of stuff that I do for hobbies and stuff
Yeah.
like that on there.
Yeah, I don't stay active on these social medias. I use them for like IG, like to if somebody wants to message me and I don't want to give them my personal information, I just give them my IG and they can talk to me on there. All right. And it's a picture with you wearing like a white and red shirt with red writing.
I don't think so. I think I'm in a dress.
That looks like a little girl.
Yeah, I think I'm in a dress. Jasmine Lilac 1983.
Oh shoot, this thing. I don't know why it went and corrected my word, the lilac, but that ain't what I had on here. It says LU now. Okay, there we go. All right, you said you're wearing a dress.
I'm pretty sure I'm wearing a dress. I'll have to double check right quick. I change my pictures out every so often.
Yeah.
And it's sometimes hard to keep up with. So I'm gonna check my TikTok now.
All right, let me know what you're wearing. Because I have the name on here correctly. It's just
yes, I am in a fancy dress. It's black and like a maroon red color. My hair's pulled back and I've got a neck collar on that's black.
Okay. Why is it not popping up on here? It's not.
Why don't you try? Oh, it's Jessica Brown 1983 on my TikTok. Sorry about that.
Say it again.
Jessica Brown 1983 on my TikTok. That's why.
Okay. That's why I was like, who is this?
Yeah, I gave you my Instagram. I thought they were the same, but they're not. So let me fix that in the chat.
All right.
That way you aren't confused.
Jessica. Got it. Brown. 1983.
I'm new to TikTok. That's why I didn't know what it was. I've been on Instagram for a long time.
That's okay. Oh, I see now. You totally, yeah, that's you. I got you. Okay, I followed you. I got you. Yeah, it's the same dress that you had on that other picture on your Facebook.
I know, probably a different dress, but it might be the same one. I don't know. I change out my pictures frequently.
Yeah, the profile is the same one on your Facebook. At least that's the one I remember.
Yeah, it is. You're right. It is.
Yeah.
I don't keep up with my pictures, but I change them out every.
I don't blame you.
I often do like dressing up and taking pictures and stuff. So
Yeah.
it's just a hobby of mine. So I change out my pictures every so often.
Right. Okay. If you're still in here, Darlene, if you're still in here, I think you are. Can you have them contact me on the Facebook if you don't mind? All right. So yeah. So we went from talking about the things that she's been through and the horrific things that she's been through. And now she's a survivor and she's thriving. She's doing amazing. She talked about what she does now, what she's certified in. She's doing great, you guys. She's doing great. She has been thriving. She's not letting this bring her down in any manner. And then we went to talking about cats and and TikTok now, right? But yeah, she's definitely doing great. You know, do you agree with me, Jessica? You're doing great.
I feel like I'm doing just fine.
Yeah. See, she's doing great, y'all. She's doing great. And she's going to stay doing great. She's going to stay doing great. And if this is what she plans on doing is to find someone new, and I hope her future is beautiful and she does find a man of her I'm not going to say dreams, because not everybody's dreams is the ones that ends up coming through, but the man that she deserves, that's going to be there for her, to protect her, love her, no matter what she went through, and understanding, very somebody that she can sit down and talk to, a best friend. That's the kind of man you want to have. It's a man who you could talk to about anything and they don't judge you. That's what I pray for you. You hear me, Jessica?
Yes, I hear you.
I pray for you for that. I pray that that's what happens for you.
Oh, well, thank you.
You're welcome. So if there's any men out there, no, just kidding.
I'm all right. I'm good.
I just had to say that one. When we do a dating show, we're going to have Jessica on here. No, actually, I do have a thing. I was going to be doing a dating show, but it's not a reality, like a real dating show. It was going to be like it's just going to be like, you know, we'd have people asking questions, answering questions, and then they get to choose who they want, but they don't go anywhere with them. None of that. It's just for show is all it is. It's just for pure show and comedy. It was going to be hilarious, but nobody wanted to join. I was like, why? What is wrong with y'all? It's fun. It's not real at all. It's just going to be like a lot of fun. But yeah, so we still have to work on it. Let me show you the video that I did for it, though. You guys will be like, oh, okay. So she definitely had a dating show on your mind. Okay, where's it at? This one right here. You thought I was kidding, huh?
Oh, no, I believed you.
So my channel, like, is not always 100% like on the serious. I like to take breaks here and there and do some, you know, that's what I used to do. A lot of more fun things than I used to do cases. The reason I got back into, huh?
Laughter is the best medicine.
Yeah. Definitely. Definitely it is. And by the way, you guys, today is 3 years. Summer Wells has been missing. They still have not found that child. She's 8 years old. She just turned 8 on February 4th. That's sad, right? That is so sad. But anyway, yeah, so I do like different things on my channel. I've been doing a lot of cases. I used to do it before that, but I just started getting back into cases. Yeah, so you guys, I'm gonna see if she has anything else to say, and we're gonna be heading off of here. But I did want to share you guys the dating show. Maybe somebody wants to do the dating show with us. It's gonna be Together and I is gonna host it. It's gonna be funny. It's not real. It's literally for entertainment purposes only, for sure. And thank you, Darlene. I appreciate that. I think she's back, y'all.
I'm back.
She's back. So, yeah, definitely entertainment purposes only. So, yeah. All right. So, is there anything else you want to talk about, sweetie?
Oh no, I think that's it for today.
That's it. Okay. So, if
Yeah.
you plan on doing a channel, I would like to drop your channel in the chat if you want to have people as well as, on TikTok and following you on here as well.
I've already shared my links for Instagram and TikTok on the private chat.
Okay. Hold on. Let me put it in here from there. Okay, you guys. So this is going to be the TikTok. Oops. Come on now. It's taking all of them. Like, I don't want that one. There we go. I'm fussing with this thing where, you copy and paste.
Oh, yes.
Okay, comments. All right, here you go. So this is her TikTok, you guys. Please go and get on her TikTok. And then also, this is her IG. Actually, nope, that's backwards. The first one that I put in there, that one is her IG, and this is her TikTok. Goodness gracious. And this is her IG. Hold on. Paste. There you go. So that's IG. The first one's IG, and the second one is TikTok. I keep forgetting that thing. Like when you put it in here, it's going to go twice because I have the Facebook on there as well. And the Facebook puts it on there. And then I'm not on IG, but I'm on, what's the other one? Twitter, right? I'm on Twitter with this because for some odd reason, when I try to add the IG, it didn't do it. So I'm definitely going to have to figure out how to get the IG on there instead of the Twitter, which is X, y'all, X, because they have too much crazy stuff going on X. Have you ever seen some things that come on that they have on X on Twitter, Jessica?
No, I don't use Twitter or X.
Yeah. It's not really a good place for people to go to. I mean, they will send you some stuff that'll make you go, what the heck is this? Hey, Eyes of Art, how are you? Yeah, I definitely don't recommend X until they fix that because it's rated X, y'all. I mean, triple X sometimes. Just saying, it's horrible. I don't go there for anything except for they have like this one channel who shares missing people, and I like to go there and see the posts that they have, and then I get out of it because I'm not trying to add anything to it. It's crazy. But yeah, so we're about to get off of here. And anybody and everybody, please grab the links. The first one, like I said, the Jasmine Lilac, that one is her IG. And Jessica Brown, 1983, is her TikTok. Please grab and go ahead and follow her. Appreciate y'all. Okay, so Jessica doesn't have anything else. Anybody have any questions before we head out? Because I'm going to put on my intro outro until I can get an actual outro taken care of. I still haven't done one yet, but I should. I haven't done it yet. I get too busy with doing all this other stuff that I forget to do my own thing. So this is another video that I made. There you go. That's what my channel's about, y'all. Let me stop. Let me stop. Okay, so Jessica, thank you for coming. I appreciate you coming. If you want to stay up here, you can. It's up to you, but you know, we can go in the back and talk for a minute if you want to. But I'm definitely going to be going and put my outro on this. Would you like to stay, or would you like to?
Oh, I can just go ahead and hop off. Thank you for having me, though.
You are so welcome. Thank you, Jessica. You have a great day, okay?
You too.
And you stay blessed, okay?
All right. Bye.
All right. Bye, sweetie.
Welcome, Dolphin fan, and